welcome to Medis Global. This is the first subject of GS, which is ethics. Now, what is ethics? Ethics refers to well-founded standards of right and wrong and what human thought to do in terms of appreciating the existence of human, animal, natural resources, ecology and environment. Then after, ethics is evaluative in nature, subjective and situation specific. Then after, the point of the ethics is not to moralize anyone and not to dictate anything. It tells what is right and what is wrong. So here the evaluative word is most important for the examination. Then after, ethical activities are altogether different activities and not similar to any kind of activities like social, legal, political, etc. Ethics is not concrete and it is a relative concept. For example, we can say that one activity is more ethical than the other activity. Then after, ethics versus morality. These are some important points here. First one is both guide the human behavior and carry the similar meaning. Then after, morality is defined as the following expected values. In expecting certain values and then following it. Here, morality is objective and not situation specific. Then morality is considered as the subset of ethics. However, there are certain situations where something is moral but not ethical. For example, a lawyer defending a hardcore criminal is moral but not ethical. Here, this term is important, which is morality is the subset of ethics. Then here in general, as you can see that ethics is depending on the situation. After evaluating all the situation, you can take the decision. Whereas the moral person do not consider the situation. This is the main difference between ethical and moral person. Then after, here it is the strategy to attempt questions. Whenever we used to see the words like evaluation, examination of conduct, standards of conduct, standards of behavior, principle of conduct, evaluation of impact of action, we should understand that it is talking about the ethics. Then after, the core value of India is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which means that whole world is family. Then after, here some questions are there. First one is consider the following statements regarding the definition of moral. So here 4 options are given. Here the answer is 1, 2 and 3, because as we have discussed earlier that morality is a subset of ethics but not always or not up to whole extent. So here if the question is for what is the correct statements regarding to the definition of ethical person, then all 4 options are correct. Then the next question is consider the following statements and find the correct statements. So here the second statement is ethics is evaluative in nature, which is only the true statement is given here. And once again, if the question is for the morality, then option D will be correct. So in this way you have to prepare your short notes. According to each questions you have to think the possibilities of different type of questions from one question only. Now the third question is importance of ethics lies in. These are the options. First one is making human behavior more scientific and inquiry based. Second one is helping in the enrichment and evaluation of human society. And third one is developing the original viewpoints. These 3 options are correct. Then here it is one important question is there, which of the following are not the behaviors exhibited by moral person? First one is being insensitive to others. Then second one is having closed mind, and the third one is doing right thing. So here the correct answer is only the first option. Some of you are thinking that having closed mind is the values for moral person, but it does not mean that every times the moral person take decision for closed mind only. But yes, you can say that ethical person never take decision by closed mind, but moral person may or may not take decision by closed mind. Then after, here the next question is ethics is blank. Here the three options are there. First one is a science of conduct, a set of values and standards, and evaluating the action by considering the consequences of it. So here all three options are correct. Similarly, here the third question is which one is correct? So here the correct answer is second option only. How we treat people we know is known as the morality. Now the next topic is essence of ethics. So there are two essence of ethics. First one is standards or values, and the second one is principles through which these standards or values are being implemented. So here let's see the first one, which is principle of ethics. There are 5 principles of ethics. So here the first one is the utilization approach. This approach focuses on giving maximum benefits to maximum number of individuals and minimum harm to minimum number of individuals. And basically this approach is adopted by the government departments. Then after the next one is the rights approach. Here in this approach, focus on protecting the rights of even a single individual and in general protecting the rights of human animals, natural resources and ecology environment. All the human and animal right activities used to adopt this approach. Then after the third one is the common good approach. This approach believes that the life in a community is good and every effort should be made to strengthen that life. For example, construction of community center, public toilets, etc. Here this approach is also adopted by the government departments. Then the fourth one is fairness and justice approach. This approach focuses on all equals should be treated equally and all unequals should be treated unequally. Concept of reservation has been derived from this approach. Then the last one is the virtue approach. Here this approach focuses on the developing good habits and discarding bad habits. So these are the main 5 approaches for principles of ethics. Then after the next topic is values and standards for the ethics. Here this diagram is most useful for remembering these 5 points which are given below the diagram. So known information convert into the belief, then all the expected beliefs are known as values, then values make the attitude, in general attitude govern the behavior, and there are certain situations where behavior is based on the certain external factors and not on the attitude. Then whenever there is mismatch between the attitude and behavior, that is known as the cognitive dissonance. Then after the types of the value system, first one is individual value system. This value system is developed on account of values received from the family, education, culture, tradition, religion and society, etc. Then the second one is work specific value system. This value system is developed on account of different requirements of the workplace, for example the public service value system. Then the third one is country specific value system. This value system is developed on account of requirement of fruitful interactions of different individuals and organization of the country. Then last one is universal value system. This value system is developed on account of having fruitful interactions among different countries. That is, it is a set of common values which are accepted by all the countries or which were accepted by all the countries. Then here some notes are there. First one is values are accepted by any society for its benefit. Then values are not constant except the universal values. Then value judgment of any society depend on the 3 factors. So factor A, which is purposiveness, it is defined as utility of the value. Then factor B, which is deliberateness, it is defined as the reach of the value. And third one is rationality, which is defined as the logic for accepting or rejecting any value. Then if any society accepts any value, then order of the importance of these three factors are like A greater than C greater than B, and if any society rejects any value, then the order of these three factors are B greater than A greater than C. For example, first of all, deliberateness of the value is being decreased, then its utility is being questioned, and finally the rationality for accepting the value is lost and the society rejects the value. Then here some questions are there. First one is, consider the following statements which are correct. So here the option 3 and 5 are correct, that rationality and deliberateness are the factors for the value judgment of the society, and cognitive dissonance can create psychological disturbances. Then after, here universal values are there. In that, first one is trustworthiness. It is defined as the ability to predict the future behavior of any individual or organization. Belief, mutuality, and predictability are always associated with trustworthiness. These are four sub-values of trustworthiness: honesty, integrity, reliability, and the loyalty. As you all know, honesty is known as, it has two parts. First one is honesty in communication, and the second one is honesty in action. Similarly, for the integrity, it is derived from the word integer. For example, something which cannot be infraction. Then once again it includes two parts. First one is intellectual integrity and the second one is financial integrity. Here, for example, a person should not change his or her own stand in similar situations is the example of intellectual integrity. Then after, in the financial integrity, a person holding the public post should not use his or her post for the financial benefit of the self or for the family. Then third one is reliability. It is the ability to keep up the promises made up by any individual or organization, and the loyalty, it is defined as ability to protect the interest of any individual or organization beyond the normal obligation. Then next one is respect. It is defined as the appreciating the existence of others, and there are two sub-values of respect. First one is dignity and the second one is tolerance. Then after, the next one is responsibility. Here it is defined as the fulfilling the expectations of the society by defining the role, and responsibility is considered as formal in nature. Here this formal in nature is important for the examination, and obligation is informal in nature. These two MCQs can be asked in the examination. Then after, there are three sub-values of responsibility. First one is accountability, then after pursuit of excellence, then after perseverance. So here accountability, it is defined as the answerability of actions performed by any individual or organization. Then pursuit of excellence, it is defined as continuous improvement or development to achieve the excellence. Then third one is perseverance. It is defined as the courageous persistence in spite of having various odds or obstacles. Then after, next one is fairness and justice. Here all equals should be treated equally and all unequal should be treated unequally. Then impeccability, it is defined as unbiased approach towards anything, for example following the well established practices rather than discretion. And the next one is care. Here four main terms are there. First one is apathy, then sympathy, then empathy and compassion. So sympathy is defined as the momentary and spontaneous kindness. Then empathy is defined as the feeling the pain or emotion of others, and compassion is defined as doing something to remove or moderate the pain of others. Here also you can say that empathy in action. Then the next one is citizenship. It comprises of rights, duties and mechanism to enforce the duties and protect the rights. Here notes are there. First one is, these are some elements which always get associated with all the universal values. Consistency, holistic in approach, then considering wider consequences, then line of order or authority, then acceptance, then comprehensive. Then next one is the dimension of lower value cannot be the higher value. So first one is responsibility is greater than that of honesty or integrity, that is greater than that of loyalty, and then the last one is reliability. Similarly for compassion is greater than that of empathy, greater than that of sympathy. Now some questions are there. First one is, which of the following can be considered as dimension of integrity? The answer is consistency and considering the wider consequences. Then after upkeeping the promises, these three options are correct. Then after, which of the following can be considered as character traits of moral person? So here the answer is reliability and the trust. Compassion is also there for the moral person. You can remember this term. Then after here one more note is there. Character traits of moral or ethical person is equal to universal values. If in previous questions the courageous is one of the option, then it is right for the moral person, but physically courageous is not right for the moral person. Then the next term is attitude. Attitude is defined as the state of mind or intention to do anything. There are three components of attitude. First one is affective, second one is behavior, and the third one is cognitive. Here affective, it refers to ambitions or feelings. Then behavior, it refers to past behavior or experience, and third one is cognitive, which refers to belief or knowledge. If any person is having strong attitude, then these three components get converted into one component, which is the cognitive component. These three components are also known as ABC component of the attitude. So you have to remember these three components also. Then after, function of attitude. In that, first point is ego defensive mechanism. These are four functional elements of this mechanism. Here as you can see that first one is denial. It is completely denying the unfavorable facts to protect the ego. Then second one is repression. It is opposite of depression. Some favorable moments are created to come out of the depression. Then C, which is projection. It is the projecting the liability on others to defend the ego. And the last one is rationalization. It is making the logic of failure to defend the ego. Then after, ego versus arrogance. It is the extra protecting the ego by harming the others. Second function of attitude is value expression. It is defined as expression. It is defined as expressing the core values. Core values used to guide other values of individual or organization. For example, the core value of India, which is Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Value aggression is opposite of value expression. Then after, third function of the attitude is knowledge. Here the application of the information for the benefit of self and others is the knowledge. Then note that aptitude with training is known as ability and with practice is known as the skills. Here aptitude is defined as the future ability of any individual or organization, and aptitude get converted into ability by suitable training and into skill by practice. Then after the next note is both attitude and aptitude are required in the public service. However, if we need to choose one over another, then attitude can be preferred. Then after the major difference between efficient and effectiveness, for example, if we are preparing for the theory of machines, for example, if you're preparing for the theory of machines from wrong book, then your efficiency will be there, but your effectiveness will be not there, because for effectiveness you have to do the right thing, and efficiency is related with anything but doing it correctly. So these are the major difference between the effectiveness and efficiency. Then one question is there: if in a family education is respected, then children will have natural inclination towards education. This shows the relationship between the answer is aptitude and value. Period. So these are some basic information about ethics in which we have discussed what is ethics, what is morality, then after some questions of ethics versus morality, then after some values for the ethics and principles of ethics, then after we have discussed some universal values, and at the end we have discussed about the attitude, efficiency, effectiveness. So this is part 1 for the ethics. In next part we'll discuss about what is the importance of ethics in the engineering, which is most useful for the examination. In this part we have included just basic information about the ethics, but this information you should know before the importance of ethics in engineering. So do like and subscribe for the upcoming videos, which is the ethics in engineering. Thank you so much.